So as we all know, the Tarkov wipe is happening very soon. In this video, I'm going to share with you my top tips and things to know going into the new wipe. So this next tip is based on my experience and my knowledge. Going through about, this will be my 6th wipe so far. There will be a lot of teams. About 90% of your engagements will be against teams. This will be for like the first sort of month of the wipe where everyone's getting into the game or back into the game. People's friends coming back to play. Everyone's like, let's go, let's do some quests. Let's get in there and get started on the wipe. This is exciting, right? Everyone's coming back to the game. Everyone's playing, right, with their friends to do their quests and everything. From what I can remember, the past 3 wipes, my first engagement on my first raid in the first wipe has been a team of 4 or a team of 3 or something. Like, there's always been a team. My tip for you, and there's a video here that shows you from, I think, a few wipes ago or last wipe, I'm not sure, about exactly how these engagements go. A team fight, my first ever fight of the wipe, being a team fight 1v4 or 1v3, I'm not quite sure, I think it was 1v3. Teams will be rampant. There'll be a lot of teams, so just make sure that you're aware of that, right? If you shoot a guy, if you kill a guy, there's probably someone behind him, there's probably someone around somewhere. Then also take into account that they might have quest items on them. They might have something on them, and they might not want to engage you, right? You've killed their friend. They might just say, look, I can't get your stuff back. I've got this quest item. I need to go. I need to get out. I've got this really important item, like a car battery for his vents, or some kind of like some item that he needs for his hideout. So just take that into account as well. People might be more apprehensive to take fights, right? This isn't late wipe. This isn't like, everyone's done all their quests. They're just PvPing. This is like PvE central right now, right? Everyone's looking for quest items, different items to survive, to get, to progress. So just keep that in mind. There is ways to play against a team. I'll give you a sort of a kind of a rundown of how you can approach things from a certain sort of example. I'm going to go through a sort of a scenario, right? Where you spawn, maybe over at Big Red side. We're on customs, by the way, customs. You spawn over at Big Red side, and you want to come over the land bridge over here. To come up towards RUAF roadblock and, over towards Crack House, all that stuff. You know that obviously if you spawn over here, players will spawn, or like a spawn will spawn here next to Crack House, like other side of the wall here. They might want to come back this way. They might want to come and sort of come from that area over to here. You might be a bit slow crossing over. You might want to go into here to get a quest done, then come back over. Got to be wary that there might be players coming, there might be players around this area, or even scavs as well, depends, right? But generally, if you take a fight sort of around this area, and there's gonna be like more than one player, which they, as I said, there usually is 90% chance there probably is more than one player. Take a fight from here, and then only way you can really do this is just back off, is just back away, right? You don't want to have to take a fight 1v2. You want to make it a 1v1v1v1, right? You want to fight each player as a 1v1 instead of fighting both at the same time. That makes it hard. So back off, move around if you can, try and get different angles. Obviously, having a scope really helps out in these situations. So having a scope in the early sort of stage of the wipe, if you can get one, is crucial, because, peeking these angles, with a red dot of theirs and a scope of yours, you've got a much better shot on their head versus them to you, right? So, apart from that, like, just kind of like play it passively. Don't overextend. Don't push through where you've just killed someone, because there's probably someone else waiting around the corner. Go around, approach the situation from a different angle. So if I've killed someone in the garages here, I should go over this way, go over here, maybe push around this way, around the side here, and try and approach from, from the alleyway down towards the mechanics garage. Obviously watching out on your left here for any scavs, or even players going for the pocket watch at the truck here. But approach from this way, or even if you're just trying to get past them, then just don't even go through that way. Just go around and keep going through this way, and jump over the fence here and go around over towards Old Gas Station. You know what I mean? Now, my next tip is more of a recommendation. Essentially, what you get when you start off Tarkov, if you have EOD, for example, then you get quite a few items in terms of like level 4 armor. MDRs, I'm pretty sure you get like an MDR. You get like a trooper armor level 4. You get a decent helmet. All that stuff, use it on your first raid. Obviously, if you haven't warmed up yet, whatever, like, it's, it depends, right? It depends on how fresh you feel. If you want to just go for like a normal kind of hatchet run, or, run in with a knife or like a Makarov to try and get things started. You know, just to sort of like warm up, or do a scav run, whatever, you know. Scav runs are, you know, always good. For me, I always use my best gear at the start because everyone's going to be running terrible ammo, awful ammo. They're going to be running like, you know, 855. You'll see a lot of MDRs, a lot of trooper armors, AVS rigs. I think there's trooper armors, AVS rigs, MDRs. So you see a lot of that. A lot of 855 ammo, which only really goes through level 3 armor. So really, there's not any reason to not use it, because it'll help you a lot. You'll survive a lot more. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I'd say, honestly, use it rather than just leave it there, because you need the stash pace. Obviously, as we know, stash pace is an absolute nightmare when it comes to the early wipe. We're trying to get our first junk box or our first cases. We're trying to sort of save up items for different quests later on. Just use the stuff. Just use it. Like, you'll get more and more stuff. Like, scavs have level 4 armor as well. You'll have some raids where you'll bring out like 2 rigs of armor, and you'll be sorted for, you know, for the next sort of few days in terms of armor. You'll get insurance returns as well. Like, people won't even really pick up much of your stuff anyway because of the low skills as well. They don't have any mule stims. They can't carry all this stuff out. They've got all their other quest stuff and their hideout things. They can't carry your gear out too. So this tip is something that I personally use quite a lot. This is taking your time. Taking your time in raid, using the full amount of time you have in the raid. So customs, 35 minutes. I try and usually extract with like 5 minutes left or so. Or even less, it depends, right? I try and time myself really well so that I use the whole raid, farm up scavs. I try and get as much XP as I can because that is the safest way. Obviously, there might be scavs that will come in, but usually it's PMCs at this time of the wipe. And knowing that PMCs want to get out quickly with their gear, their items that they grab for their quests or the hideout, whatever, they have a really important thing in their bag, and they'll leave really early. Whereas you're kind of stuck in the raid. You're kind of just sat there doing your thing. You take it slow. You usually, you know, can kind of third party some fights, getting sort of behind people. You don't need to rush things. Just don't rush things. Sprint only when you really need to. If you're in trouble or if you're crossing an open area, just sprint then, but then walk the rest of the way. That's what I do. It's worked out great for me. I usually catch a lot of players off guard because I hear them sprinting around, trying to get to the extract as quickly as they can, and it never really works out for them. You spawn in, right? You kind of sit there, then you sort of gather where you are, and then you loot where you spawn. Loot where you spawn, try and chill for a bit, loot for like 2-3 minutes, and then move to where you want to go to. Slowly but surely, moving cautiously. You know, you can loot along the way as well as you go, and that's fine. Just take it slow. Use all the raid time as you can, because players will leave the raid, and the more players that leave the raid, the easier it gets for you to get out, right? If you're rushing things, you'll run into more and more players, right? Because they'll be doing the same thing as you. It becomes a lot more random. With this method, you kind of secure your own safety, right? And also you kill scavs. If you headshot like 10 scavs, that's another like, I don't know, ton of XP. I'm not even sure how much. I think a headshot usually is around about 100 XP per headshot, plus the 100 XP per kill. It adds up a lot, and obviously the more time you're in the raid, the more XP you get in raid as well. I mean, it just makes sense, right? It just makes sense to stay in raid longer. You know, you go and grab that pocket watch. The pocket watch door might even be open. Some of the other doors, like the water room for like the dorms 206 key, that'll be open. You don't even need the key. You just go in there, you do that quest. There's even more of a benefit there in terms of like people have already done their quest before you, so you get there later. The rooms are already open. There's things already been done, and there's still scavs to kill. The scavs respawn. That's fine. You know, you can sort of farm scavs up. So yeah, I think this is one of the best tips that I could give personally. Just take your time. So I hope this video helped in some way. I know it's quite daunting to get into the wipe, and you might have a good raid to start with, and then after that you kind of snowball downhill, and it just kind of works out from there. But you still have to keep in mind these last 3 tips I've given. Because they are really important to sort of keep that success rolling, keep yourself going. With these tips, hopefully it's kind of opened your eyes to a few more things. If you guys did find this helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. There's lots more tips coming, lots more content. There's a few other wipe tip videos from previous wipes that I've done that still apply to this wipe as well. So check those out as well. Thanks guys, and enjoy the wipe.